ever stop and think about the story that you tell yourself every day? The story of who you are, what you can achieve, and what you are capable of? The truth is that that story that you are telling yourself is what is shaping your reality. The internal story that we tell ourselves can either empower us or limit us. And today I want to spend the time talking about both sides of the coin. Welcome to another episode of No Edits, Just Liz. We are in a little different location for today's episode. You know what? I just want to do the things that come to my mind. I thought about filming this episode outside and I said, okay, let me go. And on my way over here, I am not even going to front. I was about to turn back home and say, I could do this episode in my apartment. But I was like, no. You said you wanted to do this outside. Just go and do it outside. You never know what could come of it. You don't know the type of energy that you are going to embrace being outside. It is a little bit uncomfortable because if anybody is seeing me here at this park filming this episode, I'm like, please don't be judging me. But at the end of the day, it does not matter because I am here for you. I'm here for us. And that is all that matters to me. Today's topic to me is so dear to my heart because I had this epiphany a few years ago. And I told myself, you are telling yourself the most negative story. And that is a story that you are living out. What if you start telling yourself a nicer story, a story that you really truly desire, a story that you could only dream of? What if you start telling yourself that story? Is that a story that you could bring into reality? The answer is yes. At least the answer is yes for me. Are you telling a story that empowers you, or are you telling yourself a story that limits you? I think that is a tough question. It is a question that really makes you look internally, get a little bit of self-awareness, because when you really deep dive into that question, you start thinking about all the aspects in your life. And you start thinking about, what am I telling myself every single day? What characteristics am I embracing every single day? And what characteristics am I telling myself and reaffirming to myself that I am that person? Are they negative or are they positive? I've been on both sides of the coin. Currently, I am embracing a positive mindset. I am embracing that I can achieve everything and anything that comes to my mind as long as I stay committed, disciplined, and I have a goal in mind and I stay focused. But that wasn't always me. That was really not always me. This is a newfound person. I used to think really negative thoughts in the past, and I didn't understand the power of thought, the power of words. I was just living my life careless and negatively, honestly. Some of the things that I would tell myself in the past. Around 13 years old, I was diagnosed with severe anxiety and depression. When they told me this, I literally absorbed it. I didn't even question it. I said, exactly. That is exactly what I have. That's who I am. That is the story that I was telling myself. And that is how I chose to present myself to the world. I adapted that identity. I was a severely depressed girl with a lot of anxiety. I navigated the world in such a scarcity mindset, in such a negative mindset, because I told myself that story. Everything that I went through in my life felt so heavy because I adapted that identity. I navigated the world like that with just a very heavy energy around me. I went through some difficult situations, losing friendships, losing relationships, and every time that something negatively happened, it really took me into a very deep hole, and it was so hard for me to get out of that state of mind and out of that depression. That is a story that I was telling myself, and that shaped my reality. And that reality, girl, that's not the reality that I wanted to have. I have always been a little bit ambitious. I've always wanted to be successful. And with that mindset, I was not reaching that success, not personally, not professionally. It just was not happening. So when I started to go into my personal growth journey, I started to realize my thoughts and my words are so powerful. They are so powerful that I can change the narrative. I can change my story if I want to. In 2021, I had an opportunity present itself that I chose to seize it in the best way that I could. I wanted to reinvent myself. I got a position that was going to move me out of the zone that I was in. So I was going to meet a lot of new people. This is a perfect time. Nobody knows me, everything that I have been through. They don't know that it took me 6 years to become a manager. So I am going to reinvent myself and present myself as the woman that I want to be. I did just that. I started dressing different. I started acting different. I started embodying the person that I wanted to be. It took time. I had to adapt the mindset of this is who I am. I am showing up as a manager that is caring, that is empathetic, that is driven, detailed, oriented, and that could accomplish everything that she wants to accomplish. I showed up as her on a consistent basis. To then eventually, that is who I became. I started to believe that. I started to tell myself the story that I was resilient, that I was grateful for the life that I was given, that I was grateful for the opportunity, that I was grateful for the lessons. Everything in my life then became this is happening for me and not this is happening to me. That was the biggest change that I had. I stopped the victim mentality. I started to look at life and I started to look at difficult situations as this is for me to experience to be resilient. I am resilient. I am a strong woman. Anything that gets thrown at her, she is able to conquer. She is able to go through, and I will always come out better on the other end. I started believing that. And now I truly believe that. This is the reason why I do the things that I do, because I've seen both ends of this spectrum. I've seen a negative self-sabotaging mindset. I've lived it. I've been there for years. And now I am a totally different person. I am proud of that because I never thought that I could get here. There was days that I could only focus on making it through today because I had some very, very negative thoughts. Now I am excited. I'm excited for the future. I want to continue to elevate. I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to be challenged, because when you are challenged, that is when you grow. And I learned the most in those moments. So I started to tell myself that story. I started to tell myself that I am a resilient person and that if I want something, I could go after it. I removed the shame. I removed the shame of the things that I went through. I removed the shame of being naive. I removed the shame of not knowing what I was doing at that moment, being okay with bad behavior. Like, I just removed shame from my past, and that was able to help me a lot to be able to move forward, because now I can own up to it. I could sit down and I could talk about it without feeling negatively about it, because I already accepted it and I already chose to start telling myself a different story. Never settle for limiting beliefs. Push through them, question them, dig deep into understanding why are those there and how can I get rid of them, and what are the steps and actions that I can start doing and that I can take control to change. Never settle. Never settle. Do not settle for the negative thoughts that go in your mind. Question them all the time. You have the power within you to change your mindset that then will change your reality. Break free of the negative mindset. Do not identify with labels that are thrown around. When you have the control of your thoughts and your words. I was in a relationship in the past and they would always call me crazy. And I for some reason started to adapting that. Like, yeah, I am the crazy Latina girlfriend. Like, what? I don't want to be that. That's not who I want to be. I don't want to identify as that person. Why was I adopting that label just so freely, so quickly, just because someone said that that's who I was? No. Now I wish someone would call me that. They would not be around me very long if that's what they thought of me, if that's what they said about me. Sorry, no. But back in the day, I stayed with this person for many years after that. And it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of internal healing. It takes a lot of accountability, but you could do it. And I'm here to tell you that you could do it. I hope that you feel empowered, that you can change your narrative, that you could change your story. Don't identify with labels that are put on you. Question them. Why? Why is someone calling me that? Why am I choosing to act that way, to show up that way? Question it. You have the power. You have the power within you to change your world, to change your reality, to change your mindset. And it really is a choice. I am choosing this life. I was also choosing my previous life. Things are still going to hurt. Things are still going to be difficult, but believe in yourself that you are resilient enough to learn how to cope with them, that you're going to learn a lesson that needed to be learned. Believe in yourself. Believe in your strength. The story that you are telling yourself is your reality. So change the narrative, change the story, the mindset, your thoughts, your words. You can change that. You have a choice. We all have free will. Make the choice that represents self-love. Make the choice represents self-respect. Do that for yourself on a consistent basis and you will change your reality. I want to continue this conversation in the comments because I'm always so intrigued about what other people think. In the comments down below, only if you feel comfortable sharing a self-belief that you want to change. And what is the story that you are now going to tell yourself? What is the narrative that now you are going to adapt? Only if you feel comfortable. Please share in the comments down below. I am so intrigued. I am so curious. Or just pop in, share what your thoughts were about this episode. We are on episode 7. That is actually kind of crazy. It's crazy how I started this just to be able to sit down and have a conversation with you, for it to not be so edited. And maybe you are realizing that I have a lot of different thoughts and my mind jumps from one place to another, but I still want to have these conversations with you. I still want to open myself to you. I want to share with you what my journey has been and how I got to this place, because sometimes I still don't believe it. And the only reason that that is because I lived in such a negative mindset for years. I would say for like a decade. So that version of me has existed longer than this version of me. It amazes me that we've gotten to this point. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one.